Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, today I just thought we would where are you getting your work from? And how do you do it? And what are you getting for work by doing it? I know I got you confused now, right? So, stay tuned. So I thought today we'd talk about a topic that we all as business people are interested in, and sometimes we can't put the dots together, and that's how to attract new customers and how to get more work. And does it cost anything to get that work? So like right now in the shop, I've got a Farmall Cub. I've got a John Deere 401B tractor. I've got a John Deere 4000. Only this is one of 200 that exist in the U.S. And it's my pleasure to be able to work on it. Yeah, the parts are harder to get, but she's a beauty. And the owners bought it brand new years ago. What else do we have? We have a lawn tractor we picked up yesterday. It's sitting out there. I've got a John Deere 820 that I think the axle got snapped when Claude was raking. That's got to get done. I've got the Deutsch 7085 that needs a new head gasket as well as an exhaust gasket. Those two are mine. So, they get put on the back burner, but I'm going to start working on them myself. I've got my Honda Foreman four-wheeler. The new starter just came in for that. So we got that. And we've got some other stuff lined up. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to space them out so that they're not sitting here for months at a time before I start work on it. I tell people, look, we're probably not going to be able to get to it for at least 3 weeks. And I put them down on the calendar to pick up that unit, that machine, 3 weeks out. And these are tractors that are in need of bigger stuff. Lawnmowers, we still are taking them on a daily basis. We can get those in and get those out. But the key is, how do you find the work to keep yourself busy year round? And it used to cost money. It did. And maybe some of you guys are still doing it, and I'd like to hear how well it works for you. But I did newspaper, I did radio, I didn't do TV, but I did the radio. Well, yeah, TV we did for a short period, a couple weeks. That's expensive. And for all the money that I threw at it, and it was like $4 or $5 grand. The only thing we got was one guy called us and wanted to know if we would be willing to buy his lawnmower, which was a POS. I told Claude, I said, no more. I said, it may work. Because a lot of you guys, if you're floor planning, there is a co-op. The co-op is they'll pay so much of your advertising cost to advertise their machines. So if you're selling a Mahindra will co-op with you so that it's like 60-40. They'll pay 60, you pay 40% of whatever the bill is. So it's more manageable than somebody like me having to pay 100%, right? Whatever it is, it is. So the best way to get work is word of mouth, right? But it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, people say the chicken, because how could you have an egg if you didn't have a chicken? Well, good. But so what I did was, and you guys know, I'm an IT guy, right? I got a degree in IT, information technology, computers, internet, programming. And I said, you know what? The way of the future is online. People are going to do most of their looking online. And Google at the time was starting to come up. Like I say, we worked on together as a group with Google, and it was two guys. And I was one of the first ones that it was invite only for email. Gmail now, everybody's got it, right? But at the time, there were only like about 60 or 70 of us. And we were trying to get the bugs out of it. And we were doing the same thing with their search engine, trying to add stuff to the programming and cleaning up the dead space that they didn't need, a bunch of crap that, and they've come a long way since I parted ways with them. But I knew that eventually they would turn out to be the cornerstone of where most people look. There's very few browsers, out there, and that's what Google is. It's a browser that actually you can find just about anything you want. And now, I don't know if you've tried it yet or not. I have. I'm always the first to try crap, And I've got AI as part of my browsing so that it figures out, the more it's around you, the more it sees what you're looking for and what you're after, and the more helpful it becomes. It's like training a robot. So when you go to do a search, that robot automatically knows, okay, we already know what he's trying to find out. Let's see if we can't make it small. The only thing I don't like about Google right now and AI is that it's killing free speech. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's not showing up people that are saying things that they think are not okay. And that's not right. Let the people decide of what's right and what's wrong. Not an AI machine and not Google. Your tech companies need to get back and understand they are not politicians. Stay out of politics or you're going to get screwed, right? This thing about, with the venues and stuff of limiting free speech. Twitter was doing it. Facebook was doing it. You get put into Facebook jail if you said something against the grain. And I'll tell you right now, if you're on any of those platforms, AI is running the show. And then they have a human go look when they find something. And they can look at a gazillion things compared to an average person, maybe looking at 20, 30 things in a day. They're scanning millions in a day. But this comes back to what is going to bring you more work, right? And one of the things that I still think it's important is to have a website. And that is, even if it's a billboard. And what I mean by a billboard is a static website. It may be a one-page website, okay? Has your own domain, which is, www.iamafool.com. Whatever your domain name is attached to that. And it doesn't mean you have to be selling online. It just means you're getting a presence there, right? So the first thing I would do is develop a web page. And there's a lot of programs out there. WordPress is probably the easiest for you guys that are sitting there thinking about it but haven't done it yet. WordPress is pretty simple. You can get hooked up with there's a number amount there that we use to host our domains. I think at one time I had over 400 domains. I think I'm down to around 80, 85. You can never have too many, right? And they cost you around $10 a year. And then a website, probably around $9, $10 a month. But it's well worth it. It's like a business card to somebody. A business card you can physically hand out, right? Well, a website can be basically a business card. It could have all your contact information on it, what you do, about, well, a section about what the company stands for, if they stand for anything, what you're working, what you can do work on, what you can't. You could put a lot of stuff on a website. Now ours is not static. It means it's got depth. So when you click on a link, it goes here, it goes there. And if you wanted to do the online sales of a product that you think will do well, then I also would throw out at you Shopify. You know, unless you're going to do a lot of them. But Shopify has come a long ways on doing just that. But a website and a business card are two of the biggest things that you can have in your repertoire. Because a business card you can hand out, and a website, even if it's a one-page website, when somebody goes to find small engine repair, you got to have the keywords, all the other stuff in place. But your web page will come up in Google. And then that's the next step, is you need to get established with Google and create a business account, show where you are on the map, what you do, what your hours are, and they will help you get business because they're in the business of giving people the right information that they're after, right? So if you're there with Google as well, and they have your website indexed, they simply, if somebody in your area says small engine repair near me, and they hit, enter, you're probably going to come up in the listing. And it takes a little while because they're going to do some checking to make sure you're legit. But I think usually it's a month or two, and they have you all indexed. I think it's faster now than it used to be. So that's another way to get your word out. And so far, Google business listing costs you nothing. Business cards, you can get free ones, but they have advertising on the back, Vistaprint. We buy 5,000 at a time. We were going through 5,000 every 2 months when the business was really rolling because we'd throw a business card in each package as it left. Now, 5,000 lasts us a long time because I'm not doing it as much as I used to. Kind of slowed that section down, and I'm just trying to do some new old stock. And like the auction, there's some of those pieces like the CDI box. It sells for $58. I don't have squat in it. Throw $40 on it. It'll be free shipping. It'll be gone faster than fast. So you have Google business cards and a website. Next, Facebook. And you're like, what do you mean Facebook? I mean, most of us have Facebook accounts, personal accounts, right? And you can go into there and create a business page. Yes, you can create an account that is linked to your personal one. But nobody that comes to your business account will have access to any of your personal information on your personal one. And I keep them separate for a good reason. I don't ask all my friends on my friends list for my personal one to, give them invites to the business one. I just think it's quirky, right? Corny. But what I did do was on the business cards, on the website, and through Google, I listed the business page on Facebook for Northern New York Parts and my farm parts. I have two different accounts for each, even though they're both the same. They're both us. One is the farm side, tractor side, and the other one is the small engine side. And you can use Marketplace as a way to drum up business. Now, I would not encourage you to go out and join a bunch of groups and then just start, spamming them with bring your work to us, blah, 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 blah. No. First thing I would do is ask the moderator, because a lot of these places do not allow job postings as far as trying to get work to come to linking people to what they need for a repair guy. But what you can do is you can join within Facebook. You can join the groups that are similar in nature, small engine repair, maybe, cadet. There's so many different groups. And then ask the moderators, is it okay if I post once about our business and how they can get a hold of us? And most times the moderators have told me, go ahead, but don't every week keep doing it. Just put it out there, and if you want to do it once a month, that's okay, as long as there's not a big spam thing. But the biggest thing is they want to make sure you're legit, right? And if you go to a small engine repair site, good chances are most of the other ones there are doing small engine repair as well. It's a great group to get together to share information, to ask what works and what doesn't work, and maybe a problem that you're up against when you're working on something. But it's not a place to try to drum up business, because everybody else there is trying to get business. So I don't use Snapchat. YouTube, yeah, I mean, if you feel comfortable in front of the camera and you got some content. But when I developed this channel here, it wasn't to get more business. It was to teach and to learn. See, this has always been my enjoyable part of the day, because I get to sit down with you guys. And I try not to intertwine business with pleasure. And business, I turn it on, at 7 o'clock, and I turn it off at 3 o'clock. And that's just the way it is. With YouTube, it's having a cup of coffee with the greatest people on earth that have similar interests, that enjoy stuff that brings me pleasure that I talk about, and also feel the same way when I'm talking about something that isn't so joyful, right? But I would never use it as an advertising, because it would come off as spam. And, you see these websites, you see these YouTube channels, and they're selling hats, they're selling sweatshirts. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with them doing it. But I think it's just kind of corny. Are you in the business to teach, entertain? I mean, I guess if you could make some money out from it, and I may look at it when I get a gazillion followers, but right now I don't see, what are we, 2,400? I think it is 2,300. Anyway, I'm thrilled even if I had one, as long as they were watching me and they enjoyed what I was talking about and they were learning. So YouTube, not so much. You could, I guess, if you wanted to. You also have what Google has for paid ads, where you can, and Facebook has the same thing. Facebook, you can advertise on Facebook, and then it's better to have somebody else do it for you that's been doing it for quite a while, because it's all about demographics, location, and it's overwhelming when you first look at it of how narrow you can make that search to find who it is that it's going to appeal to for Facebook and Google to push your product to. And the more keywords that are popular, the higher the keyword cost is on Google. So let me know how you guys are getting work into the shop, especially when it comes to free work, where you're not advertising, but you're using advertising means that are free, that are at your disposal. So on that note, you guys have a great Wednesday. We'll see you here bright and early tomorrow morning.